World of Tanks BZ-72-1. This vehicle is a Chinese Tier 10 heavy tank. It has the jet booster mechanic. It is a pretty good tank, specifically for its armor. The other specifications are not going to be so good, but the armor, the damage is going to be good. Gun handling, not so much, etc. So we're going to get into that in a moment. First of all, there are Tier 10 tech tree vehicles that are similar to this vehicle, so you don't have to pay for this vehicle. The tech tree vehicle is 6 million credits or 4 million when there's a discount. So you might want to take that into account if you decide to bid on this. This vehicle has the crew transfer, you earn bonds, combat experience, and crew experience. It does not mention extra credits. Gun's not that great, but it does do decent damage. The armor is really good. It does have the booster mechanic, which you could argue gives it a decent speed, but it only makes it equivalent to many of the other vehicles. What it does give is acceleration, and you could potentially do a lot of ramming damage. You got 4 crew members: commander, gunner, driver, loader. The commander has the skills of the radio operator, which is very common. So the average damage is 560. That's really good. It's above the average, substantially above the average. The average tier 10 is going to be 350, 400, 560 is really good, which means you're probably going to be able to fire less often. You're going to have a longer reload time, and your dispersion might not be so good, but in this vehicle, it's actually pretty good. Average penetration is 260. Nothing special about that. That's just kind of average. The gold rounds are 320. Not so good. That's a little bit low for gold rounds. Gun loading is 14. You got a long reload, which means you're going to want to put the gun rammer on this vehicle. Anything that improves the gun handling. Aim time 2.4. That's kind of average for vehicles in the game. Dispersion 0.38 is average for vehicles in the game. The DPM 2,300. 2,200 hit points. The hull armor 155 on the bottom. That's pretty good. For a heavy tank, maybe not so much. 70 on the side, 40 in the back. The turret armor 350, which makes it one of the best turrets in the game. It's probably going to make it one of the top 5 tanks for turrets, which makes it equivalent to the Object 260. Only the Yo tank has a better turret, and only by a small amount, but obviously the Yo tank does have a better turret. 200 on the side, which is really good. Doesn't mean you're going to get 200 in the back over here, and then 50 on the back. Suspension repair time is 12. That's a little bit slow. I don't know how it compares to the other heavy tanks, but we'll see in a moment. Engine power, is that the horsepower? It says 900. Top speed is 30. This is a slow vehicle. With the booster, it's 45. Nothing special about that. You're going to have to learn how to play with the boosters. I never mastered it. You get, I believe, 5 discharges with the booster. And I'm guessing a 10-second cooldown period. The concealment is 6.78. That's really bad. View range is 400, which is the height of the cupola. 400 is, a little bit low, but, it's also a low-profile tank. Signal range is 750. Nothing special about that, but it won't matter except for maps like Grand Battles and Frontline. I'm going to get into comparison. First, I'm going to compare with all the Tier 10 heavy tanks minus a select few. For example, autoloaders. I probably removed all the autoloaders. And then we'll go head-to-head against the BZ and the Chinese Tech Tree, which you can purchase for 6 million credits. So the first thing you notice is that the damage is, in fact, very high. The Object 705A has more damage, but a lot of vehicles only do 400 damage. 60 TP. The Polish tank does 750. Got a lot of 440s. So the damage is good. And if you're trading shots, that means you have an advantage over the enemy. Penetration, we see 258. 270 is the highest. A lot of 250. 246 is low. So this is 260, which means it's kind of average. Gun loading 414. That's slow. T110E5 has a 7-second, although it's possible that that is with a gun rammer, or because I might own it. It might be my vehicle in my garage. But you can see a lot of the vehicles are 9 seconds, 11 seconds. So it's a little bit slow with the reload, and that is common with vehicles that do a lot of damage. Gun traverse speed is 25. Nothing special about that. In fact, it seems like it's kind of average. Gun depression -8. If you've played these style of tanks, you're going to be used to that gun depression. Gun depression is, a lot of it has to do with how much room is above the turret for the breach. You got the aim time 2.4, that's kind of average. You got a 1.88 here. 1.73 is the best for the French heavy tank. Got a lot of 2.0s. So it looks like 2.4 is going to be about the average. For the aim time, dispersion is 0.38, that's average. 0.38, 38, 38. And then we got a 4.2, a 4, 4.2, 3 6s. 0.3 is the best. 0.3 is really good dispersion on the Object 260, which, by the way, is an amazing tank. So the 0.38 is just kind of average. DPM is 2.3. When you compare it to the E100, it's 30% less than the E100. So that's a substantial difference. However, it is similar to the majority of the other heavy tanks, so there's nothing wrong with the DPM. Hit points 2200, which looks like it's kind of average for most vehicles. Hull armor 155 in the front. Looks like it is average. However, there are, a decent number of vehicles that have stronger hull armor. 200, 254, 175, 200. So this is kind of a low average. Turret armor is 350. That is an amazing turret armor. That means when you're hull down, people are not going to be able to penetrate you, because even with gold rounds, they're only shooting 330. So with the regular rounds and the gold rounds, they're not going to be able to penetrate your turret 75% of the time. With the gold rounds, they'll penetrate like 25% of the time. So you got here the 705A. The BZ75 has better armor than the gift vehicle or premium vehicle or whatever you want to call it. A lot of these vehicles, you got 356 with the Yo tank. We got 350 with the Object 260. A lot of them, they're as low as 260 or 300. So that means that this turret is one of the top 5 turrets in the game. Suspension repair time 1203. That looks like the same for virtually every vehicle. I've got one here that's 5.44, but I'm sure it's because of what I've added to the vehicle in terms of equipment. Engine power 2250, I'm sure that is with the boosters, which means if you do it right, you should be able to do some nice ramming. However, you cannot steer the vehicle when you hit the boost. So ramming is something you have to practice. Top speed is 30, which makes it one of the slowest vehicles. The mouse is slower. It puts it at the bottom in terms of speed. The IS-7 is twice as fast. The reverse speed is as fast as the other vehicles. With the boosters, it's 45. That really doesn't make you more competitive than the majority of the other vehicles, but it's the acceleration that matters, and going up hills, you're going to do better. You want to save it for when you go up those hills, and at the end of the game, when you're going for that last vehicle, you want to outrun everybody. Or if you just want to ram somebody, someone happens to be in front of you, hit that booster and just ram right into him. So you're going to want the driver skill for controlled impact, which is going to give you more experience, more ramming damage. You're going to receive less ramming damage. The concealment is consistent with other vehicles, and the view range is similar. They're all kind of 400 or even 390. The signal range looks like 750 is kind of average. You probably don't have to worry about the signal range, and that does mean you can put a radio operator that's not trained for the vehicle and you'll still get decent signal range. You know what? This is a premium vehicle, so it won't matter. So if you were going to, instead of buying this vehicle, take your $4 million and wait for a discount, or spend $6 million, I would recommend the ST2 because it's fun to play. By the way, I think the BZ72-1 is going to be fun to play. Strongly consider the ST2, and the IS-7 is going to be fast. The E100 is good. E5 is good. The Super Conqueror, people like it. When I played it, it was before they buffed it. 705 is good. 705 is competitive with this BZ vehicle minus the extra mechanism. Object 277 I don't have. BZ75 is good. If you want to save some money, just get the BZ75. We'll compare it later. IS-4, people love the IS-4, but maybe not so much anymore because there's a lot of good vehicles. T95 you're not going to be able to get. The AMX has that great aim time. The mouse is great to play. 60TP has crazy high damage. Type 5 Heavy used to be very overpowered. Now you're not going to have amazing games with it. The Yo vehicle, the MVY, amazing vehicle. Great mechanics with the backup tracks. Amazing turret. 113 used to be the top vehicle in the game. This is in the collector's vehicles in the Chinese tech tree. Maybe not so much anymore. Object 260 campaign reward. One of the best vehicles in the game. WZ111 I'm not sure about. You're not going to get it easily. The Object 279E, one of the best vehicles in the game. They nerfed it. What that means is that almost all these vehicles are fun to play and good to get. So you should take a look at all these vehicles. Look at your tech tree. If there's a lot of tier 6 vehicles you do not own, you might want to save your money. I'm going to get rid of some of these. I'm going to get rid of that one, that one, that one, that. We're going to keep that. Get that one gone. This one, that. We're going to keep that. Okay. ST2 double barrel gun, fun to play. There is very little strategic advantage to the double barrel gun. How does it compare otherwise? Otherwise, you know, the armor is really good on this vehicle. And less damage. So basically, ST2, BZ72, you could kind of say they're equivalent, different mechanics. Object 705A. Excellent armor. Armor is equivalent to the BZ. Greater damage. Otherwise similar. This is kind of similar. The BZ gets you the jet booster mechanic. The Object 705A gets you higher damage per shot. 60 TP, higher damage per shot. Armor not so good. Yo tank. The armor is amazing. Plus, it's difficult to track the vehicle. If you hit the tracks, you've got the auxiliary tracks. So you really want to consider the MVY. Object 260 is an amazing vehicle. Maybe not so much anymore, but I would say the difference between the Object 260 and the BZ72 is the BZ72 has a jet booster. And I think that the Object 260 is extremely fast. It's twice as fast. So the Object 260 doesn't have the acceleration and the ramming potential of the BZ72 or the damage, but otherwise the Object 260 is a better tank. But you gotta earn it. The WZ. Armor's not so good. Damage, nothing special. The BZ72 is superior to the WZ111. And I'm going to look at the speed. Although the WZ111 is quite fast, or almost twice as fast. And the 2790 I'm really not going to compare because it's unlikely you're going to get it. Very few people in the world haven't. I haven't gotten it yet. So I would say strongly consider the MVY. Put your credits towards buying that, because you research those tier 10 tanks, you can't afford to buy them. They just sit in your tech tree unpurchased. Get it for $4 million when it's on a discount. So what do we got here? 10% more damage with the BZ75 tech tree vehicle. Faster gun loading on the premium vehicle. Better dispersion on the auction vehicle, better DPM, better turret armor, although the tech tree has competitive armor. Armor is very good. The speed is the same. You get an extra jet booster with the tech tree vehicle. Basically, the tech tree vehicle looks more appealing than the auction vehicle, which is the BZ72-1. You lose 20 on the armor thickness, but you know what 330 means with gold rounds on the tech tree vehicle? They only have a 50% chance of penetrating, and because of the slope, it's really to your advantage. The BZ75 is a really good vehicle. I would say you can buy the BZ75 for 4 million silver. The regular price is 6 million. You get it for 4 million on holidays and other special events. Strongly consider the BZ75. Save your money for the BZ75, or you just buy both. Don't spend too much on the BZ72 unless you really think the BZ75 is out of reach. I've already researched the BZ75. I would save my money for the BZ75. You lose the crew training and the free EXP and stuff like that. However, the vehicles are very, very similar. And, the T22 Medium, which is not a great vehicle, sold for 17 million. This might go for a high price. Don't sink all your cash into it. There's a ton of tier 10 heavy tanks that are worth getting. So I'm going to say strong. I know you're going to hate hearing it, but pass on this. The price is going to be too high. And they might do a second chance auction, which might allow you to purchase this at a lower price. So be cautious when you place your bid. Don't bid too high. It's going to be a little bit difficult. That is my review of the BZ72-1, which is a Chinese special premium vehicle in the Chinese tech tree. It is not an actual premium vehicle. It is called a special vehicle, which means it doesn't have the extra credit earning. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I am the owner of cheapbooks.com, which is a website for searching for books and textbooks. Right now, there are over 650 million books in the main database. And I recommend, if you want to make a little bit of extra cash, running Honeygain. I will put the link down below. It is a VPN. You resell your internet as a VPN to other customers. They handle everything. You just run the software. If you are in Europe and North America, you're likely to make, $50 a month. I've heard of people making $150 a month. You don't want to do it on a paid data connection where you pay per gigabyte. You want to do it on Wi-Fi or landline, fiber, etc. And if you're outside North America and Europe, you're probably not going to make as much money. If you have any questions or comments, please post below.